Not today, Sagan. Maybe tomorrow.
Jesse and Bob are two dudes on the job to brighten your day while gabbing away on a pod. Forget your frown, let's see what's going down in Beachtown.
I like
Hey,
that.
we're back to episode 19 or 20. What do you say? What do you know? Tip the veal and try the waitress. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Every which way from Sunday. Heavens to Betsy. We got jokers cracking wise. Weisenheimer's on the up and up. Hooligans on the straight and narrow. Dames are flipping her lids. It's the bottom of the ninth. The bases are loaded. 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's a scorch out there. And the Brooklyn Dodgers win the series. 23 skidoo. We're having a good time.
That was good. Welcome.
Thank you. That's my time. You guys are great. Thanks for joining us today. That's pretty much everything I got to say. Welcome to... Actually, you know what? Let's do something crazy before I introduce you, Jesse Egan, before I tell the people your name. You know what? Welcome to episode 19 or 20, I think, of... I'll look it up later. Of Jackin in San Diego. How about that? We're just going to call it that.
We're changing the name.
Fuck it.
It was Beachtown for 19
name.
episodes or 20 or maybe less. We don't know.
There's no way of knowing.
We're switching it.
Jackin in Sandy. How about that? I'm going to, because I messed up our Twitters so badly. I'll tell you about, I accidentally started it and I can't get into one of them. And it's just, there's 2 of them by accident. And
you can't get into it.
It's just such a disaster. I think we're just going to call it Jackin in San Diego. And that's going to be that. And maybe it'll get its own. I could probably change the Patreon URL that we never used. So whatever. What's the difference?
Oh, man. I got to find a good logo for that, I think.
No, you don't.
Oh, jacking it, whacking it, jacking it, smacking it, jacking it, whacking it.
Oh, be careful. We might get a copyright strike if you sing it on the.
Oh, really? If I sing too much of it?
Yeah. But actually, that's kind of offensive. I think if you sing a song and they don't give you a copyright strike, that's their way of telling you, yeah, you weren't close.
That's funny. What about if you put as your Zoom background like stuff from South Park?
It's probably fine.
You think?
It's a Zoom thing. I don't know the answer to that. I like the palm trees, though, because I just have my my blinds closed. Because if I open these, you're going to see the 163 freeway, and that's very San Diegan, actually.
That's true.
You're going to see my neighbor. My neighbor, Alfred Hitchcock, has been walking back and forth 17 times today.
How's that look, though? Can you see?
This for our visual people on YouTube. Yeah, it's like a postcard. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I see the kid. I don't like the kid's butt. That's weird.
The kid's butt.
I don't need to see that. I don't teach you a lesson. All right. So.
All right.
Well, this is what's been going on, folks. Just to catch you up, because it has been a minute since we've done the Beachtown comedy podcast. Your basic beaches, your sons of beaches. We were doing a lot of mental health check-ins with the grapes. And then I think what both of us were doing, Jesse Egan, is that when we finally had a mental health, like a real issue to talk about, we would always not do the podcast because there's certain people out there listening are like, we don't want them to hear that. We don't want them to know that. We don't want them to get offended by this, or people, we don't want them to get worry about us here and there and there. And I did the same thing. I'm like, well, I can't do the mental health podcast right now if there's something going on, which is not going to work. And even though I'm basically a professional and practically a medical professional. Nevertheless, we're like, well, let's just try catching up. Maybe we'll loosely do a grape here, a grape there, but
here a grape, there a grape.
Nothing to.
Yeah, I figured, let's take it down a notch with the structure and just kind of catch up as old buddies. And talk about Jackin in San Diego.
Jackin, I like that background. That's a good one.
You like that one?
Yeah, that's the best one. That's SeaWorld. That's a popular and the San Diego Zoo, which are nowhere near each other, but in that background that they are.
You can see Hotel Del. Ann and I almost got stuck out there in Coronado yesterday. There was a jumper on the bridge.
Oh.
Someone that did not do their grapes, Bob.
They did not do their grapes.
They they were jumping. They were jumping off the bridge, and then the whole traffic was backed up, and we almost had to sleep over in Coronado.
Oh, Jesus.
Coronado, yeah, I called my dad and told him about it. I was like, yeah, they just passed this law where they're going to put these nets and stuff out under the. I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm picturing just like you try to jump and then you're caught in like a fishing net, and that's probably not how it works. Or maybe there's trampolines you jump off and bounce right back up onto the bridge.
That's what they do in China, and they should probably do it in the U.S. for people who hate their jobs. If the people try to jump out of the factories and they put the nets out there. Here's my concern with that. I'm glad you mentioned that, because if the nets are there, aren't people just gonna like start jumping for fun? Like the Jackass guys. I know they have a popular film out this week that I'm not going to see because I hate those guys. But are people just going to do it like on a dare, like the kids with the Tide Pods and licking toilet seats or whatever the fuck they're doing?
Yeah.
Aren't people just going to jump off the bridge for fun now if they know there's a net there and just on a dare to see what happens?
Well, we'll see if the traffic gets really bad again.
Okay, well, and then if you're stuck in traffic and you're really upset about it, aren't you more tempted to jump off the bridge and there's a net there anyway just to pass the time?
You make amazing points, Bob. People should listen to Bob, like your shirt says. I don't know why.
Definitely listen to Bob more, and they don't, and that's where they get into trouble.
You should be governor or at least senator.
Nobody listens to Bob. That's a problem right now.
It is.
By the way, if Neil Young stays on Spotify, we have to join Spotify. I don't know how it works. We're not on Spotify. I don't know what the situation.
We're not on Spotify.
Everyone on Twitter is fighting about this stupid Spotify, Joe Rogan, this, that, and the other. Everybody sucks. How about if you're in that argument, you suck? Does that work?
If you're trending.
Yeah. They're all just horses with no name. Every one of them.
Bob and I are never trending. We're too busy jacking it.
In San Diego.
So this is our first podcast of the new year, right? We waited all the way to February. It's our birthday
February.
Month, Bob. Happy birthday in advance.
Oh, thank you very much. Happy birthday to you as well.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday.
Yes, all that happy New Year's.
All that happy horse shit.
And today is Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not a football guy. I always loved this day because I could just kind of drive around and no one's around and I could do whatever.
I think that's next Sunday, isn't it?
It's not this. I always thought it was one weekend after the Royal Rumble, which was last Saturday.
How do we both not know that? I'm pretty sure it's next Sunday.
Okay. Would they do that a day before Valentine's Day then? Because next Sunday would be the 13th. And that would just mess up the whole gimmick there.
It's going to mess up a lot of Valentine's Days. But yeah, it is. It's the day before.
Hell with it then. What the hell do
Which is weird because don't they have like the most incidents of like domestic violence and stuff on the Super Bowl? Like people that are lunatics that bet too much, lose their money, and then hurt their significant others. So that's going to be a weird makeup the next day on Valentine's. Sorry, I broke the television because the Bengals or whatever. My bad. I love you. Here's some flowers. There's glass in them. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, so you were a week early on Super Bowl, Bob. But I think here's what people are excited about, Bob. Is the Super Bowl halftime show that's going to have Snoop and Dre and.
Is it really?
Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, I believe. Doing a whole Mary J.
I see. It's like a whole big reunion. Aren't all those? How old is Snoop now? Do you think?
Snoop's about 400 years old now.
Yeah, he doesn't age.
But he was smart. He never named himself like young Snoop Dogg or old, little puppy Snoop. He was Snoop Doggy Dog, and he dropped the doggy when he grew up.
I understand. The smartest guy in all of those might have been the old dirty bastard guy. Because didn't he jump the gun early? He's like, I'll just start with old, so this way I got longevity and I'll be around forever.
And then he died, so he didn't really grow into that name, that moniker, because he never grew old. So
You know, when I was a wrestler in northeastern Pennsylvania, the tag team that I single-handedly defeated for the northeastern Pennsylvania tag team championships were the Moondogs 2000, and they named themselves that in the middle of the year 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, weren't thinking ahead. Not
That's
smart
funny.
guys.
I forgot I'm actually wearing my old dirty bastard socks.
Oh.
I got some brand new old dirty socks.
I didn't think socks were going to be the product associated with Old Dirty Bastard.
No, I don't think the Jones family gets a piece of this sock money. I think they're bootleg dirty bastard socks.
Oh well. I was in CVS the other day. They had diabetic socks, and I just felt bad that people just weren't taking care of their socks. Like,
Yeah.
what did you let your socks eat?
Shame.
Well, this is a mental health podcast, and I should let you know.
Still? Okay.
My therapist said to me the other day, he says he wants to do reverse psychology. I came home, he's lying on my couch. An hour later, he gave me $100 and left.
It's a good therapist.
I love this guy. Yeah, I'm good at therapy.
I'm starting this week, tomorrow. Monday is my first session with BetterHelp, folks. And this is not an ad. We're not sponsored, but if they give me a discount, that'd be sweet. BetterHelp, which is an online therapy, and I've got my first session tomorrow, so I'll let you know how it goes. So
I'm very excited to hear about that.
BetterHelp, grapes out for them.
Well, I have heard good things about BetterHelp. I was telling you my favorite wrestling podcast by the great manager and promoter and booker Jim Cornette. His people write him several good letters about BetterHelp, and they are one of his sponsors. But one of ours for Jackin in San Diego is our brand new sponsor, Pepsi Zero.
Nice. Zero
Pepsi
sugar. That's
Zero.
what you need, Bob. It's better than the blue.
Sugar. Absolutely zero sugar, but it tastes just like regular Pepsi. And what you can do right now is go to PepsiCola.com, enter the promo code Jack in it, and nothing happens.
But they will wonder why you did it.
They're going to ask you some questions. They're going to bother you. So this week's you know what? Let's do this. My favorite G.I. Joe themed podcast, because there's several. G.I. Joeberg, these great lads in Johannesburg, South Africa, have a podcast called G.I. Joeberg, and they have a segment they do that doesn't have to be G.I. Joe related at all, but just to kick the ball, whatever, keep it rolling. Hey, I'm hungry. Give me a break. They say, what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you consuming? What are you ingesting? And what toys did you buy? G.I. Joe or otherwise, or what stuff have you bought? What are you watching? So what is
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. What are you ingesting? Sounds like you're,
because I know you went to this Wednesday, you saw Vincent Van Gogh.
I did. I watched him. I was gonna do a dumb joke about cutting his ear off, but I'm not gonna do that, Bob,
he was famous for that. That was a thing he did later, yeah.
Was. But his paintings are beautiful, and we went to see that exhibit at the Del Mar, and they sort of do this animation and projection of his work. It's very cool. We saw that, and what other things? I very much enjoyed the last 2 episodes of Boba Fett that have not had Boba Fett. So, spoiler alert: if you love Boba Fett, don't watch the last 2 episodes that have come out, because there's no Boba Fett in Boba Fett. It's Noba Fett. So I've enjoyed it. I've loved that. And I watched all the new Queer Eyes, and then I've gone back, and I somehow have missed
new ones.
Yeah, well, I had missed the Queer Eye Philadelphia season, so we're starting to watch that. But there's a season after that, and there's also like a little mini season where they go to Japan, which is good. But yeah, we watch those. We watch 1 episode a night of Queer Eye because it's so emotional that we watch that, and then we'll switch it over and watch some Seinfeld or something because it's on Netflix. Because Queer Eye is so intense, and if they really get you, they get you to cry. You don't want to watch another one, and you want to just absorb what you learned from that first one.
I'm not going to learn anything.
You will. You'll learn, Bob.
Because after I watched the last 2 Book of Boba Fett's, I call them Bozo Fett sometimes because I'm hilarious. A friend of mine on the popular social media platform Facebook, they asked the question, who would have thought Boba Fett is most interesting when you barely see him and he barely talks? And my answer was George Lucas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he didn't have any lines or
He
really
kind of
anything.
figured the shit out, no?
Yeah, totally. I think it's some odd writing. You know, like I love Jon Favreau. Like he's my favorite Favreau.
He's the
But
one who plays Boba Fett.
he writes it, and
Okay. Yeah.
I think, you know, it's interesting because they made him bathe so much. You know, I've never seen a hero that's like in the bath so
Oh, I
often.
thought you meant Jon Favreau. Like, what was the situation in the studio?
No, not Favreau.
Sure.
Maybe Favreau's a stinky boy, but yeah, it's like he wrote every episode begins and ends with like Boba
Jon
Fett
Favreau in the
in
shower.
his Favreau's rinsing and repeating.
Well, again, he's talking to Tom. Is Favreau the guy who plays Happy in the Spider-Man Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same guy? Okay, yeah, he's in the shower.
He's always so showering.
He's
No, I'm talking
Tom
about
Holland
Boba.
on a video screen.
Boba-
Tom Holland's trying not to look down. That's a scene. You can do that.
No, I'm referring to how Boba Fett sleeps in like a like one of those Joe Rogan beds. It comes full circle. He's in one of those sensory deprivation tanks that make you think you know everything. Really zinged him that time. I don't have an opinion really either way. I don't care. Whatever. But what were we talking about? So yeah, Boba Fett, he bathes all the time. So you haven't watched it?
I watched
really
all of them.
okay. So you know that he's fixated on cleanliness or at least sleeping in a water tank.
No, I'm well aware. He's always immersed. He's always floating.
He's got sleep apnea.
And he's got the sleep apnea thingy. And then they have a robot play Luke Skywalker's voice. And then they got us with that sudden cut to black cliffhanger of what's Grogu going to choose. Is he going to choose the red pill or the blue pill or whatever?
That'd be a cool spinoff. Grogu in the Matrix.
I think he's going to do both. He's going to pick one up on his hand, and then he's going to take the other thing when Luke's not looking. I don't know, something like that. It's going to be some kind of cop out.
I really thought when they showed the little handkerchief thing, I was like, oh wow, he's going to give him that the Tupac look, you know. And the next scene is going to be him doing that Hard Knock Life song from one of the what was it, Dr. Evil. It'll be him and Grogu, and they'll be singing, and they'll have their bandanas on like Tupac.
But Tupac should be a hologram, like a Force ghost, but also a hologram, like he was in whatever that festival was. I can't think of.
That's a good idea.
I thought you were actually going to say that Grogu would wrap the red thing around his head like Gizmo. When Gizmo became Rambo for a second and drove the Barbie car, because Gizmo and Yoda have like the same head. It's like the same guy, really.
Yeah, it is. Same ears, same overall head.
And gimmick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's what I've been ingesting.
Well, I am absolutely in love with the show. Wednesday with Boba Fett is my warm-up. The Thursdays with Peacemaker starring John Cena.
Yeah.
I am in love with this show. Arguably the greatest television show of all time.
I haven't seen it yet, but I know you got to get HBO Max.
Got to get HBO Max.
Pay for yet another service.
Because if you get HBO Max, you can also watch Godzilla vs. Kong and Kong Skull Island and all the Batman movies, all the ones you love and the ones you hate. You can watch those as well. But I know a lot of people like the animated Batmans from the 90s. Those are all on there. And all the animated DC stuff is on there. But all the Batmen, like the Michael Keaton, you know.
You're not jumping ship on Hulu, are you, Bob?
I am a little down on Hulu.
Wow, Bob. You used to advertise for Hulu unprompted.
Yeah, well, I'll learn my lesson. I just use it to watch wrestling that I hate for some reason. And then I do a podcast about a wrestling show I don't like watching called The Hardest Part of the Ring.
Oh, wow.
That's why I use Hulu for with limited commercial interruption, but sometimes not limited enough. I could use an extra commercial.
So you're down on Hulu a little bit, but you're up on HBO Max?
I've been on HBO Max just to enjoy. Like, I'll just be like, you know what? It's Friday. I've had a week at work, and I just want to watch any Batman. I don't care. So all the new cartoon movies they come out with are always on there, and I'm just like, this is perfect. Because they'll do a hodgepodge of famous comic book stuff and just smash it into one like 80-minute cartoon. I'm like, perfect, good. I don't got to read shit. So they had an Injustice one where Superman turns bad, and the Joker tricks Superman to killing Lois Lane, and Superman kills Joker, and then the other Justice League people, led by Batman, have to figure this out, and Superman's pretty much decided he's the sheriff, and he's mostly doing good stuff, and Wonder Woman is all about it. Batman's like, this ain't such a good idea. All the regular human guys, your Batman and your Green Arrow and your such and such, or even the Hal Jordan, who was a regular human at whatever point, and Barry Allen too. So they're all just like, what the hell are we doing? And then I counted like 12 popular characters dying in this, but there's no canon for them to die in. Like, it's a one and done. So they just, whatever, they're alive in the next one. Who cares? So you just like, the Flash is dead. Well, that sucks. But he's back in the next one. This is a one-off. So like, whatever. I like the Flash. So I like watching those, and I love my HBO Max. But here's what I'm enjoying that I think you'll get a kick out of this weekend. I was supposed to visit the Great Luigi, the god of pit bulls, this weekend. But on Thursday night, I discovered my all-wheel drive and anti-lock brake system warning light was on. And I was like, God, and it went on and off. And it just went on when I hit a bump. So I'm like, it's probably just a freaking electronic thing that I just nudged. Because the second I hit a bump, the light goes on, and then you turn the car off, turn it back on, the light goes away, but then you hit the slightest little nudge of a curb, and then it comes back. Like, okay, that's probably what that is. Nevertheless, I can't drive 2.5 hours each way on the same day, not knowing my brakes are okay or not.
Yeah.
Like, that's bad news. Even though they're almost definitely good. It's fine locally, but you can't really do that. So I had to make an appointment for Saturday afternoon, and they told me, to my surprise, we forgot, we didn't tell you, because I made the appointment online. It's a diagnostic thing. It takes a few days to check, so we got to keep your car for a bit.
What?
So they gave, because the computer systems, especially because the only appointment they had was 1:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and they're almost closed by then.
Oh, man.
They're like, it takes a few days. So here's a rental car. So I got to rent a car. They said, is a Toyota Corolla fine? And then I laughed because I believe you drive a Corolla, right?
I have a Camry, but
God damn it! I thought you had a Corolla.
I skipped the middle one. I used to have the Tercel, and then I skipped the Corolla. I finally got the Camry.
Jesus.
But I'm a Toyota guy, baby.
Yeah, apparently I do.
So how do you like the Corolla?
I'm enjoying the Corolla. I'm very low to the ground, which most people hate, but I like to feel every bump of the road. I want to know, but when I stand up, that's the thing. A lot of guys, I want the big car. I want to feel bigger and taller than everybody and muscle them around and cut front because I got a big muscle car, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay, but what happens when you get out of the car? You stand next to it, you look smaller. I get out next to the Corolla. I'm only 5'11". In real life, I'm 6'6" when I get out of that Corolla.
Yeah.
So really, these guys are idiots. If you want to look like a big, huge, tough man, get a tiny car and step out of it. And if there's no other cars parked near you, you look like a fucking giant.
Good point.
They don't listen to Bob.
That's why I only ride a bird scooter. I look huge. Nice. So that sucks that you got the rental.
Yeah.
Still
well, here's the Dick Wiener situation. The Dick Wienerism makes it worse. Monday, I have to start a new promotion that I didn't want. I got promoted at work. I went from compliance coordinator to compliance liaison. So,
liaison.
I don't want to be promoted. They said it would take like a year to get promoted, and then they just picked a bunch. I had no choice, basically. They weren't like, "What do you think about this?" They're like, "You got promoted." Like, fuck you. So I get like an extra $1 an hour. Hope for it's probably have like actual responsibility now and ruin my life. So I'm like, great.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know what it entails.
Exactly. I don't know. I know nothing what the compliance liaison does. So now it's like I'm going to spend my days for the next week or so, thankfully there's usually no video, but in like Microsoft Teams audio meetings, just listen to someone talk And it's always some chick who's like 32 and they're all hyperactive. They never tell you what the job is or what the project is when they do these things. They just go, okay, sometimes you're going to see this and you got to click that. And then you'll see that. You got to click this and you see this. Sometimes that's usually normal. But if it's not, what you got to do is you got to email so and so and tell her the blah, 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 blah. And yeah, what's the fucking job? So I don't want this job, but I have to worry. At some point on Monday, I'm going to get a phone call from Sean at the Toyota dealership in Kearney Mesa saying your car is ready. But I can't get it during lunch because I don't know when I have to be back because I don't have my own schedule. So I have to get it at 5, whatever. I have to leave. I'll probably leave here at 5, get the thing, and then, but who knows? Hopefully the thing will be ready, but I'll be worrying about my car because I don't have my car with me while I'm training this new job that I don't want. So I'm not looking forward to tomorrow at all or this week. It's just all awful. All of it's, I just hate jobs. I don't like employers.
Yeah.
I don't need them, really.
Well, I mean, it's better than getting fired to get promoted.
Well, they'll fire me eventually when they realize I don't know how to be a compliance liaison.
You know how to be a liaison. You just people come up, you go, this way to the compliance. Let me just.
I suppose
it's like a what do they call them at the hotel? The concierge.
Yeah,
that's what you are as a compliance concierge. Maybe actually that might be the next promotion up. Is the compliancier?
I don't know. I think the next promotion is I think there's nowhere to go after this. Thankfully, this is the 3rd tier of the 3 tiers.
It's this, and then CEO, right? Is right after this.
Yeah,
you step right up. Ownership, and then you start having liaisons of your own.
There you go.
Little mini liaisons that work under you.
Yes, and they dress like French maids for some reason.
And they all drive Corollas.
They all drive Corollas. They look so tall when they get out.
All right. Well, so there's that. What about stand-up? We got any comedy on the horizon? I did a couple shows. I didn't do much since the beginning of the new year, but I did a private birthday party, and I did a opening set for a church show recently, and they were both pretty fun. It's nerve-wracking when you do the churches. You really want to make sure you don't screw it up, but the audiences are always very receptive, and I think laugh more than pretty much any other.
Really?
Yeah, I love the church crowds. They're so great,
Oh, that's surprising. Because I know a lot of times that it's not just that there's kids there, which is hard enough, but I know sometimes you mention there's kids and they tend to overload with activities. We'll have stand-up comedy while we're having a picnic, while there's a game of bocce ball going on in the background or whatever.
Sometimes that happens, but yeah, usually it's not. And I just think, it's funny that, once we started like working all the time, or at least for myself, working during the day, I could see why Late Show Friday is so tough in the clubs, because people that have worked all day and are tired, it's like, oh man, that late show you're dragging, But I think the church shows are great because they're usually early, and there's young people, old people. It's a good mix, and they know that they're going to get something that's tailored right to them. They're not worried that anyone's going to hear anything that is inappropriate. So there's that sort of safety net. It's like doing comedy on the new Coronado Bridge.
Yeah. You got me. I didn't see that coming. And then you do a bar show with a bunch of people who've been doing the same Hitler abortion pedophile ass eating for 12 years. And you're just like, what the hell is this?
Didn't you say the comic that you worked with actually said to you, I'm going to do less abortion stuff today?
Yeah, because he knew it would annoy me, I think.
He knew it would annoy you.
He's like, listen, we're going to do, and he did less abortion stuff, but he did whatever the hell else he did. I'm like, yeah.
Why is it doing any?
Yeah, that would be it's just so, and it's not because I'm this do-gooder who likes squeaky clean comedy. Actually, I don't like squeaky clean comedy. I like PG-13ish. You like you're dick and you're shitting your balls, and then maybe you have a fuck here and a fuck there, but it's not so over. The joke isn't look at me, I said a gross thing or an edgy, shocky thing. It's like when that's the entire joke, that's when I roll my eyes and go, this sucks.
Yeah.
Look at me, I said. I don't want to go back to abortion. Look at me, I said Hitler. It's going to get worse. Well, then great. Look at you. What do you want? Do you have something to say, or you just want to say something and get a reaction for it? Because here's the thing: anyone can. It's like a monkey fucking a football. Anyone can just go out there.
It's always like that.
It's always like a monkey fucking a football.
It's exactly like that.
It is because okay. You see,
what did that comic warn you they were going to do more or less of that?
Less of what?
Fucking a football.
It didn't come up, but honestly, I if that happened, I'd just be more impressed of anything else. Like, okay.
It's like, Bob, I'm gonna do less abortion jokes, but I'm gonna do 15 minutes on a monkey fucking a football.
I'd be okay with that. Because at least at that point I had it coming. So
yeah.
But that's the thing, anyone can just make a big mess. It's easy. Like here's the okay, we'll get away from monkey fucking a football. Have you ever seen an intelligent person just hit a hornet's nest with a baseball bat?
You said a hornet's testicles.
I know.
Hit a hornet in its testicles.
The aim is impressive enough.
No, I've never seen it. I don't think I've seen it.
Does it take a smart person to smack a beehive and see what happens?
This is why you don't like those Jackass movies, huh?
That's why I don't like those Jackass movies, because there's no skill in it. And just like there's no skill and when you follow someone who does crowd work, and that's why I get annoyed when I follow anyone who does crowd work, especially are you two fucking or whatever the hell. Because here's
which one is the monkey, which one's the football?
Yeah. Because any idiot can do that, and everyone will make a bunch of noise and they get off stage and look at all the fucking reaction I just got. Yeah, there's no skill to that. Anyone can do that.
I would argue that there's a different skill to doing crowd work, but that it really diminishes the ability of the performer that wants to do material after them. So like you could have a show where everybody's doing crowd work or the last guy does crowd work. Yeah. But I feel like if you have a show where one guy decides to do a bunch of crowd work early on, he kind of screws over everybody else.
Yeah, it kills the whole vibe, because then they're like, oh, wait, we thought this entire thing was going to be us back and forth and yada, yada, yada. So It's like, I always use this one too. It's like a monkey foot. No, I use this one. They don't blow up Jaws in the first 5 minutes of the movie and then talk about blowing them up and reminisce how cool it was when they blew up the big shark for 2 hours. They blow them up at the end of the shark. The movie ends like a minute after that, or whatever the hell it is, because there's nowhere to go. There's absolutely nowhere to go. So by the time you got a monkey fucking a football, show's over because there's nothing to see after that.
You know a lot about this for someone who didn't know that the Super Bowl was next Sunday. A lot about football related.
Watch the games or the commercials. I just watched the monkeys.
I don't know what games you're watching. Is this the zoo? So
what else? San Diego Zoo, which is apparently across the street from SeaWorld, according to that map.
Somewhere on there. So
that is false.
So what else can we catch up on here?
I watched Clifford the Big Red Dog.
That's
actually, I do want to go back to stand up in a second, but since I mentioned Clifford,
we need a news. Shouldn't it be a news flash or some sort of warning before you drop an atomic bomb level piece of information like that? How was Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Arguably the greatest film ever made.
So I don't know how
you can argue. I think the most unrealistic part of it, because it takes place in New York City, the least realistic part of Clifford the Big Red Dog is that an entire community got together and helped one another. Like, I didn't buy it.
Maybe they would for a dog.
No, they're evil. They're just horrible people. And no one, there's nothing, including a giant red dog. There's nothing that can make anyone look up or give a second glance to, even if it's a giant red dog. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Yeah. That's why I always laugh when I see like the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. They're like, people stop. Oh, look, there's Spider-Man. No one's looking anywhere. They don't give it. They see Spider-Man every single day. He's got a big belly and he's charging $30 for a picture in Times Square. He's in your way to get the Port Authority. No one gives a fuck that Spider-Man is. Yeah, it ain't happening. So that's what's unrealistic part of it. Oh, and this too. Boy, the course. We're gonna keep hitting that. The course correction that they did now in this movie. They made sure when all the cops had their guns drawn on the big red dog and the 11-year-old girl, where that wasn't weird. They made sure there were absolutely no white cops with their guns drawn at anybody the entire time. There was like it's all white cops just pointing your guns at people. That's New York City. So, but they made sure they had one of every single ethnicity imaginable. Like even the Indonesian squad is out there, and made sure that they did not have a white cop pointing a gun at anybody in their new kid-friendly, I don't think it's Disney, but some other stupid company, Clifford the Big Red Dog movie. So they covered all their bases, just like Law & Order SVU does the same thing. They're like, no, we're all the good guys. All the good guys are on your show. Then get the fuck out.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I just thought
really learn a lot about socioeconomic issues through Clifford the Big Red Dog. I had no idea.
The main villain, I call him Elon Bezos because it's just super it's just super tech guy who doesn't wear a suit and tie, but he's an evil multi-trillionaire, invents things, Amazon, Tesla guy. So I just kept referring to him as Elon Bezos the entire time because it's just this character. So Elon Bezos Jobs is the villain.
Oh yeah.
But nevertheless, I mean, that notwithstanding, arguably the greatest film ever made.
Sounds good. Well, is that on HBO Max? Is that one of their newest?
No, I rented it on Amazon. I went all out.
Well, you're all over the place with your media.
You can't stop me. Amazon Prime does have the new, the latest Ghostbusters and Spider-Man. Are we there yet? I don't know what the hell it's called.
Are we there yet? It's already on Amazon?
Yeah. You can rent it or purchase digital, and I don't get paid for this, by the way.
You should.
But back
you get paid for this and to promote Pepsi Blue, I think.
I have not seen a Pepsi Blue in September, August, ever since I drank them all.
What a shame.
I have not seen any at that Walmart.
I thought you gave them up for Lent. Well, how's your, I meant to ask you, how's the hernia been? Or the double hernia or the triple?
Double hernia is I like to include the double hernia. Even though double hernia is not a thing you can get. I just had 2 hernias, but I like saying double hernia.
Hernia squared.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. The hernia is like it's better, but I'll get like some pains in the stomach. I was feeling that mesh this morning, and now it's pretty good. But I was working out, I was clanging and banging. And, no weights. I just like saying clanging and banging. But I'm just doing my resistance and everything else, and but next, it's like I feel like
you can feel the mesh in there.
I can't really feel the mesh. I just the mesh itself. I just feel where they put it in. I just know I know it's in there. I definitely know it's in there. More in the umbilical than the inguinal. My groin's pretty good. I got a great groin. We'll post a picture and we'll post some links.
Post a pic of your great groin.
Post a picture of the groin
and your meshy abs and your great.
When I do my kicks on stage, like I think you were there for one of them. I say to people, you better be careful. I do one wrong kick, you're going to get a spleen in your martini. Silly.
I like that line, a spleen in your martini.
No one's drinking a martini. Who am I performing for?
Maybe in La Jolla.
The British Secret Service? What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, they drink all those like Windex looking drinks with the
Jesus Christ. They just knocked out Goldfinger. What the hell is going on?
Nice.
So yeah, I'll be here all week.
Any good shows? Any stand up?
Lately I've been following a couple. On 2 occasions recently, I followed a crowd work person. I was just like so annoyed. But no, the Best of San Diego has extended to Tuesdays and occasional Wednesdays too. So, which I kind of like the variety. I think also last Wednesday I came up with Thursday energy or even Friday, Saturday energy. And Wednesday is a different energy, especially in that place. And, oh well. But,
I'm surprised you didn't ask them if they're humping.
I used to hate it so much when comics would start. Wednesday is a hump day.
Hey, it's hump day. Who's humping? Hey, you humping or humping? It's hump day. Who's humping? Let's go hump. Humping.
You humping, humping, thumping, and dumping, humping, pumping, and jumping. I'm humping, you're humping, he humping, she humping, they humping, are you humping? We all humping. Oh shit! You can't stop the hump. Who's humping? Y'all humping. Happy Hump Day. Oh, it's just the worst. Because it's just easy. That's the thing. It's not that I hate crowd work and blah blah blah. It's just when you're just staying the stock lines and you're using them as just a big wall to throw the tennis ball off of. Like it's kind of like anyone can do that.
Out of context, though, humping is a funny term when it's not repeating the term. It's hump day. If you say something like we had a noise outside and the neighbors would come running out, and the cats are getting into it, and one of the neighbors was like, what was going on? I was like, the cats are humping, and he laughed. That's out of context when you don't use it very often. They're just humping. It's fun.
Humping's hilarious.
Humping is fun.
But we have coming up on a couple of weekends from now. Apparently this is going to be one of those 90 people on the shows. I don't know what's going on. So we're the headliners at the Madhouse Comedy Club in the Gaslamp District, downtown San Diego.
Somewhere there, down in there.
See your enthusiasm. February 18th and 19th, Friday and Saturday, 2 shows, 7 something and 9 something.
With the great Paul Ogata.
Paul Ogata. And,
definitely expect the Eidsons will be there.
The who?
Oh, the Eidsons. There are a couple of fans. I once did a show, just recently did a show, and it was like in Hamul or somewhere, and I get there and they're there and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to see you. I can't believe you guys came all the way out to see the show in Hamul. They go, yeah, it's great to see you. We're here for Paul Ogata. It's Scott's favorite comedian. I was like, so they'll be there. They won't laugh though. They don't laugh. They sit in the front row. And
they are a couple. They are a married couple or a family, or what are they?
Yes, I think they'll probably wait for Paul Ogata before they laugh. So just expect, when you see a couple, looks like your parents sitting in the front row judging you for 90% of the show. That's the Eidsons.
That is the well, Ogata's got to do what Ogata's got to do, and if he doesn't make a T-shirt out of that, I don't understand what the problem is. Well, that'll be fun. But it looks like there's 88. So there's you and me and Bijan and Daniel Starro and Sarah Hirschberger. There's are we all doing 7 minutes? I don't understand what we're doing.
Everybody does 22 seconds, and then Ogata brings it home for a full minute.
Seriously, he can't, because I imagined him doing 45 to an hour. So I can't.
Normally, he would. I'm sure normally that's what he would do, but it's probably not how they do it.
Because lately, I think they've had, I wouldn't think he would be doing this, but lately they've had their headliner doing 20, 25, and then a bunch of people doing 10s or whatever.
That sounds like what's going to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't get my head around that. I just couldn't see him doing only 25. I'm like, what is it? How many of us, are there more of us that are not on the poster? I did not make the poster. Jesse Egan, you made the poster. I did not.
I did not make that poster.
I know that, but you made you made it as in you were chosen to, you were selected to be on the poster. Is not that you look physically.
Oh yes, I was on it. I am on.
Yes, but I was not special enough to be. They couldn't squeeze, they couldn't squeeze my name on it. Apparently, there were not enough room for the 3 letters that I went to profess.
That would have been funny if it just said Bob just somewhere on there.
It should, yeah.
Just Bob, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not. What's the problem?
And Bob, yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole deal.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. So make sure you do that. Then I'm gonna do the Grand, I think, the next weekend with Vicky.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you headlining or?
No, I'm just gonna open for Vicky.
Oh, Vicky. Okay, cool. There you go.
She's gonna marry us too. She agreed to marry us.
I don't want to get married.
Get married in October, Coronado, you and me, and
we're both married. It's illegal, and she's already married. We can't do it. This is all illegal.
All 3 of us getting married right there, Koronadsky.
Has there been any update on what type of house you, Anna, and myself are gonna live in?
Yeah, we're thinking maybe Did you ever see that like RV that is it Mel Gibson lives in, or is it Tom Cruise? We were thinking RV at an RV park.
Okay.
We got one of those sunsetter retractable awnings so that we can all sit under it.
Ooh.
The three of us. And should be real cozy.
That sounds very nice.
It's good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good life.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't have much today, Bob. I'm just kind of like keeping it keeping it close to the vest. I don't know what
There
that
you go.
means, really.
Well, what I've been up to, because we mentioned Joe Rogan earlier.
Yeah.
I know one of the popular or sometimes unpopular figures associated with him is a clinical psychiatrist from Toronto, Canada. He's from Canada, but he used to teach in Toronto. Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Who, I once got told that I sounded like him, which had a similar voice, which was funny to me.
Huh.
Because I've always had the Kermit thing, and he's been called the Kermit thing as well, which I think was really funny.
We got to get you guys on a show together. Two frogs
You
on
can
a
do one
log
day.
or something.
I would like to take up the role. I don't know how familiar you are with them, but if anyone listening is, I think it would be funny for me to just be like, okay, listen, here's my advice on this mental health Jackin in San Diego podcast, and oh bloody hell, man, you got to make your bed. I mean, you're damn man, your life is wretched. You're 41 and you're not married. You are in trouble, man. I mean, that's the problem being a creative person. High risk, high reward. It's you're screwed, man. Bloody hell. God,
it ain't easy being green.
Yeah. That was more Jordan than Kermit, but what?
I was thinking you'd be a good co-host for Rogan too, because when he fact checks things, look it up, and then you find some really weird conspiracy theory.
I feel so bad for that guy. Jamie is yeah, because he's got to Google stuff in like seconds, and it's just like, what? I need to know this now.
Yeah.
During the first big lockdown of the pandemic, my lockdown roommate, my quarantine buddy Corey, he was a huge Rogan and Tom Segura fan, so there was always constantly, anytime if he was awake for 3 months, you were hearing Rogan and or Tom Segura and all those same guests on all their shows and on each other's shows, vice versa, and it was just so constant. So I've been bombarded with the
you must know like all there is to know about eating elk and stuff like that.
There's so much elk. There's so much fighting
bison. A lot of bison.
So much bison. So much deprivation tanks. So much DMT. Acid,
so much DMT and elk.
Oh my god! And Jordan Peterson. Hey, listen, you want to play an hour of video games? Whatever turns your crank, man. That's really funny to like 3 people out there. I promise you. So, but then listen to Brandon Schaub's non-existent brain babble words and just, oh my god. So yeah, I've definitely been overexposed to the whole thing. I just think it's funny. Everyone's just hell-bent on just fighting about it. It doesn't matter, guys. It's a podcast.
Yeah,
we're all doomed. Don't worry about it. But what I have been doing, though, what I've been taking from Peterson, and not the external stuff that everyone gets mad at him for, but just his internal. I've watched a bunch of YouTube stuff over the years, actually, but a lot more recently, of his more motivational, fix your shit type of stuff, and not his just him fighting with the president of Canada about vaccine mandates. Nothing to do with that. Just the more internal. Okay, let's look at, well, where did things go wrong? Where did you screw up? What can you fix? How can you set a plan to fix this and this? The good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
That sounds good.
And now that I've explained that, if anyone is still mad at me because that's part of the team they don't like, I've already explained it. So it's your fault. You weren't listening. So is really the way I'm going to describe that. But so lately I've been thinking back. Well, let's we'll just focus on the first thing, just because we got a little bit of time left before we wrap this bad boy up. Is, well, where did we go wrong? How did we end up, Bob, in this situation? It's not a bad situation I'm in, but now, I mean, what did I do wrong the most? And I think looking back, the answer is I always two things. Every little thing falls into one of two mistakes I always make. I spread myself very thin. I was doing wrestling and comedy at the same time at one point. I've always got, I'll create this large YouTube video project for myself with stop motion and this, that, which is insanely intensive. Well, I got all these other things I want to do. Well, I want to have a mental health podcast. Well, I want to do stand-up comedy. Well, I got to coordinate the compliance and then be a liaison for the compliance and everything else. I'm just always like, even my free time, like I'm just vegging out, watching Peacemaker and John Cena does a funny dance and everything else like that. I'm just thinking about what's the next project, the thing you got to make, the thing you got to do, and everything else. The fun boxings, the toy thingies.
Well, what's wrong with that? Why do you say that you've gone wrong or that something's gone wrong? I mean, I always think of like mistakes or whatever that just lead you to learning things. And so you didn't make the mistakes or make those adjustments, you'd never learn anything or grow.
I think I never really achieved any great success in one thing, though. Like I could have picked one of those things and maybe taken the others down a few notches to be an expert.
Sounds boring.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, if you just do one thing all the time, it's boring as shit,
Well, look at it this way. No, really, I had to do it. But what do I know? What topic do I know more about than anything else that I know about? Easily pro wrestling.
That's one. I mean, you probably know more about G.I. Joe, Transformers, and He-Man than most human beings alive.
Most human beings, but I know the experts personally at this point, and no, I don't know a fraction of what they know about it. It's a bananas what they know about it.
Gotcha.
I've met the experts, and
yeah,
I know a lot. I know tons and tons more than the average, but
I guess it's also different with pro wrestling because you physically participated in it in a very active way that is different than someone who's just a fan of it,
Right, and it's so hard sometimes, even when I'm on these whatever podcasts or little live streams and talking to people who are fans, and I've been annoyed too. I shut my mouth, but one time I was doing a live stream with a dude. I just lost some of my light. Did I lose some light? One of my things came undone. Well, whatever.
Dark side of the Bob.
We're gonna. Now I look like I'm in a documentary, like squealing on the mob now, but we're gonna leave it. But they got my.
And then Sammy the bullshit. I will stab you.
And then I got a letter from Luigi to Squeegee. That's racist.
Are you going to reschedule that trip, by the way, and go see him?
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks away. Yeah, February 26th. It's a Saturday, so it's.
As soon as you're anti-locks or anti-locking again.
Yeah, so the car should be more than good by then. But then
what's the deal with that, by the way? So if they anti-lock, what are the brakes lock up? What are you driving, and all of a sudden they lock, and then you're just braking? I don't understand.
Yeah, they lock and you can't brake, I guess. It's really bad. But again, like
popping and locking.
It's almost definitely not my brakes. It's just the warning, the electricity stuff, the computer stuff. But that stuff has to be running too to tell you when stuff is actually broken.
I see.
Because you don't want the warnings to not come up, because that's very bad. And warnings to come up all the time when they're not supposed to is not as bad, but still pretty bad. Because then it's a colossal time waster and a complete, panic-inducing situation.
Well, so you're going to drive back up there, or you ever take the train?
So I could, but I mean, it's not like his owner. Like she's not really in LA. She's in Redondo Beach, which is easier for when you're driving because you don't hit too much of the awful LA traffic. You get like the tail end of it and the beginning of it coming home, but like really not that bad. I have more trouble getting through Carlsbad than I do really getting through that Redondo Beach area. But still, it's because it's on the water, but it's off. It's like closer to Long Beach and stuff like that. It's not quite. I don't know what kind of trains are going to Redondo Beach, quite frankly. But so we're going to reschedule that.
Alrighty.
So that will happen. So that was frustrating too. So I waited all week. I'm going to visit Luigi. And then, no, you're not, because you went to Rubio's and you got some fish tacos and you hit a bump, and now your light's being goofy. And that was Thursday night, and that was after Wednesday where I wasn't so happy. I had a
blame
mediocre
Rubio's.
set. What's that?
I blame Rubio's.
I blame Rubio's too, the mahi mahi taco plate. And I just was like, oh, nothing's going right. The day before, I had the set where I followed the crowd work, and I was annoyed by that. It was like, it wasn't a bad set. I closed strong. I opened pretty good and had some big laughs in the middle, but it wasn't steady. It was mediocre. It was 10 minutes. That's the nice thing. Well, now that's more spread out. It was 10 minutes instead of 7. And I'm just
Okay.
like, this was, I ended up going like, I think I was fourth or third or something. It was like, somebody else didn't make it. So everything was going wrong that could possibly go wrong. Oh, I'm up right now-ish, like, because so-and-so's not here, and then crowd work guy, and then fucking, I'm trying new stuff, and, like, I don't think anyone else is, so they're just doing their A stuff and killing it. I'm just like, I'm making all the wrong, not really a wrong decision, but I'm just, nothing's going right. And then the next day, the light comes on, and, like, nothing is
You
working.
do that right when you're on stage. You're just like, where did I go wrong?
Where did I go wrong? I don't know.
I've spread myself too thin with this set.
I did. Well, yeah, that's the thing. The set was kind of all over the place too. Here's a new thing, and then I'm like, ah, shit. Here's a thing, an old thing that works, but has nothing to do with anything. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
I don't know. I think
Decisions.
arts. Yeah. Our podcast used to be designed to cheer people up.
No, yeah, that's the end of that. Well, I think that went south pretty fast.
That one sounded pretty fast. We realized pretty quickly that that's a hard task. But
it's damn near impossible. I think our excuse was always, well, it cheers people up because now they know they're not us.
yeah.
But since we've now this has been redubbed Jackin in San Diego, is that maybe that's the goal. I think people need to understand that San Diego or Southern California life does, depending on who you are and what your status is and what you look like and everything else, it's not all the postcard that people like think it is. Like, I think people think that, oh, Southern California, you must spend all day on the beach. Like, no, that's absurd. How can you spend all day on the beach? There's things to do, and there's things
You can
to
be
go
miserable anywhere, that's for sure.
if you try hard enough, yeah.
Yep.
Like even Anakin Skywalker, he hated sand. It was coarse and it was rough and it got everywhere.
It's everywhere.
He would just complain about it all the time.
I'm looking forward to that show, the Obi-Wan show. That's going to be great.
Oh, I thought you seriously. There was an Anakin show.
There's going to be a show where he just talks about sand. He just stands there and complains to Natalie Portman about sand for 45 minutes.
Poor Natalie Portman, and here's the thing, and she's not spending all day filming that, so she just sits down on the beach for like a second, and they just keep cutting to that one shot they have of her staring at him, and back and forth to the Hayden Christensen now just talking about sand, and it's always the same shot of her, like those new cheap Bruce Willis movies on Hulu or whatever, where he's barely there.
I haven't seen that.
Yes, I only know about it from Red Letter Media. I wouldn't bother, but Bruce Willis is doing a bunch of cheap movies. He's barely in where he sits down, but they're action movies, and they'll just show like a stunt double with a bald head, but it's like it's clearly a 30-year-old's clean bald head and not a 68-year-old's. And then that guy and that stunt double will punch or shoot someone, and then they cut to Bruce Willis just looking tired, and it's not fucking him.
My favorite thing is watching more recent like Steven Seagal movies that are all, him like talking like he's trying to do different accents, and oh god, it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's hilarious. I watched 10 seconds of the first. I'm gonna keep watching. I just wanted to have it in my queue on Netflix. I'll pick a platform I haven't mentioned yet. They have the Knight Rider episodes.
Oh, nice.
Which I haven't watched since 1980, whatever. So I really want to.
That car is magical.
Yeah, I really.
Car can do anything.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you don't realize the car is magic.
I
remember the guy pulls a gun on Michael. It's like a revolver.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Kit, jam the gun," and it's like, "Wah." Gun doesn't work. It's a revolver. You can't jam.
I loved that while moving, Kit pulled in and out of a tractor trailer. Like to me, that was the coolest shit. Like you can do that, and you can't, I guess, but.
Oh, you can. Yeah. How could I don't know?
Can't do that, but I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So I'm anxious to rewatch an episode or two and see what's
Yeah.
What's going on there? But this is instant money, and this bothers me, Jesse Egan. How come of all the crossovers they've ever made, no one has ever made the Dark Knight Rider and made that movie of Michael Knight versus Batman / Bruce Wayne and Kit versus Batmobile? It's easy. It's the same. Just do the same old story. There's some mission with whatever Michael Knight's secret agency is, CIA or some knockoff of it, whatever. They end up in Gotham for who knows what reason. Of course, Alfred and Bruce Wayne find out there's a disturbance, and they don't know if Michael Knight is on the up and up. So there's a Bruce Wayne or Batman versus Michael Knight. They fight for a bit. Their two cars fight, and then they fight, and eventually they team up to fight some other villain. I don't know who. Shredder. I don't give a shit. Like whatever.
I like it.
Yeah.
I also think we could do a crossover with like Knight Rider and Baywatch and call it like Night Watch and have the Kit, Kit is an actual lifeguard. And then when women are drowning, Kit is like, Michael, there's a woman drowning. Go get him, Kit. And Kit flies out into the water. And
I really thought you were going to say Kit drives into the ocean.
Kit drives into the ocean.
Yeah.
Saves, comes back, and then jogs
so
slowly
the
on
wheels,
the beach in slow motion.
The wheels turn down and they become like flotation or heavy, whatever those things are, kind of hovercraft like things. So like that old toy line mask in the 80s that had like a cartoon show, whatever.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, the wheels would turn, and that's what happens when Kit goes into the right as soon as he hits the water. And
I think we should write that script and pitch it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Night Watch.
Yeah. Night Watch and the Dark Knight Rider.
Dark Rider.
That's right, yes. Those are the shows. We're geniuses. No one listens. Listen.
Nobody.
Listen
well, I think we did some pretty good damage, so
yeah.
Not sure how much we can not help people more than this. So
well, in terms of liking and subscribing, in the immortal words of Michael Keaton's Batman, I want you to tell all your friends about me. So in doing so, like, subscribe, share, yada, yada, yada. Jackin in San Diego. So we're changing the journey just a little bit. I don't know exactly where it's going, but we are making good time. So we'll find out what happens in Jackin in San Diego.
Nice. We're not set on that name, but yes.
Oh, we have to.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Well, yeah, I don't.
I think it's arguably the greatest name of all time.
We'll discuss offline.
Right.
That one. All right, everybody. Thanks. I've been Jesse Egan. This has been Bob Hansen. We'll see you next time. Jackin it.